RSL Nation!
Hey!
Woo! Welcome back.
It is episode 71.
So we have a little different setup this time. We don't know how this is going to go, but we're just going to roll with the punches.
I know, they can see my space behind me. I feel...
Well, I had my closet open before, so they could have seen my wardrobe.
Yeah, you could have seen your Ellen's laundry. How gross.
Yeah, I kind of need to do laundry.
At least I get the lights behind me.
That's really cool lights.
Yeah, sorry, we don't get the beautiful aspect of the stadiums behind us tonight.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. But we're here. We took a couple of days to really decompress. Process.
I was so mad.
Let's
those of you who follow me on Twitter saw a few angry tweets go out. Shameless plug.
I guess before we get too deep into this, for those who are listening for the first time, you have myself, Alan, Christian, Marcos. Hey. We're all here. We're all
we good.
We're gonna be.
We're slowly getting over that terrible day on Monday, but
I don't know if we're gonna get over it.
We shouldn't.
We really
never
shouldn't
get over it.
I mean,
we should learn from it. But
oh yeah, we have to at this point. But here's the thing: we're gonna talk about both games. So we're gonna go with the Atlas game first, just to ease our way into the Houston game. After we talk and vent and cry a little together, we'll talk about some happy news. We'll talk about a new transfer. We'll talk about all the transfers. We'll give the transfer window a rating, a grade. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what's ahead for RSL, because really, that's all we have to look forward to is the future, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we dive into all this, there's somebody on Instagram that wanted us to answer this question. So before we dive into the Atlas game, in honor of the Olympics that are going on,
what? This is like totally left field, but all right.
Let me go with it. He wants to know who would win in a race, Anderson Julio or Andres Gomez.
Wait, which race? If we're talking about the Olympics,
let's go 100-meter dash.
Okay, good. Because anything else?
Let's go 100-meter dash.
I'd say Gomez.
Gomez?
Gomez, but not by much.
I'll give the slight edge to Julio.
Really?
It'll be a photo finish.
Photo finish? Nah. I think youth is going to win on this one. Gomez, definitely for sure.
And the gazelle trot.
The gazelle trot.
Does he have a gazelle trot? For me, it almost seems like he has like really long strides, like he's like dragging his feet on carpet. I don't know. Do you know who really looks funny running really fast is Crooks?
I was going to say.
That's just because he's tall.
Exactly.
There's no tall person that looks.
And any tall person, we've seen a Quinton run, we've seen Crooks run. It's just very awkward and shouldn't happen at all.
What do you mean it shouldn't happen? We want him to run.
We want him to run.
That's funny. Well, that's a really random question. So thank you, whoever sent that to us.
Keep sending us those questions.
Yeah,
really random questions. We love random topics.
Just start with the random question at the beginning of every episode.
Why not? Why not? I mean, probably the new listeners are probably like, "What the heck? Why the random question?" We roll with it, my friends. We roll.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's dive into the positive of Leagues Cup so far. And obviously we're going to get into
so far.
It's like it's still going. We're in it still.
All right, fine. We'll talk about that also.
Positive Leagues Cup.
We're going to talk about Leagues Cup in general at some point, but we're going to talk about our first game, RSL versus Atlas. Here we played it at home. Mm-hmm. And not going to lie, guys, it, for me, wasn't too impressive. Yeah, we got the win, but it wasn't too impressive. So we're going to go one by one. Christian, since you're the first one on my list.
Completely unimpressed by the win. I mean, the first goal just kind of happened. That's the best way I can describe it. Just kind of like, oh, and they scored.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, the controversial tying goal by Anderson Julio.
Now, tell me why you think it's controversial.
I mean, I think Atlas fans were right to be upset that the play continued well after the 2-minute mark, and and before any other of our listeners will be like, yeah, but we still scored. Imagine if the shoe was on the other foot. If we had been up 1-0 and then Atlas continued to play and play and play, because let's be honest, they wasted a lot of time, so much time.
Yeah.
But and if Atlas had tied it up like that, 3 minutes into stoppage time when there was only 2 minutes into stoppage time,
stop being logical.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second half was kind of and then Nelson, just a moment of brilliance. That's all it took. Just one moment of brilliance, one moment of reading the opponent well for that of a goal. Marcos and I, when we're in the press box, we try to keep our composure because it's the press box, right? You have to
try to be some professional.
Oh my gosh. How far back did I slide, Marcos, with that goal?
Oh, man. Like, if I wasn't in the press box, let me tell you, I would have taken my shirt off. I would have been like your son, Alan. I would have been taking my shirt off and just standing on my seat.
We are so glad that you were in the press box.
So glad. All of us.
Thank the children do not have to go to therapy because of that. But
no.
Overall, very mediocre from RSL, beating a kind of a mediocre performance by Atlas as well.
Yeah,
they were uncertain in a foreign territory, so they fell back into what I think the Spanish coach had been fighting against, was a very Mexican style of play, which involves a lot of time wasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But afterwards, can I just say, in the presser afterwards, Atlas's head coach, what a class act! Mm-hmm. What an incredible dude! Like, that almost made me become an Atlas fan just from him.
That fast,
alone. Huh? Like, but
you seem pretty.
No, that's how impressed I was by that coach. So he was very classy coach, and didn't know he was Spanish either. So those are my thoughts on the game. I would out of 10, I would give that game like a 6 for RSL.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's not good. Improvement.
That's still a D.
It's still a D. Yeah, that early goal, giving up to Atlas, not great. Something that I didn't like from the get-go was this Gavin Beaver just not great right there in the box. I'm like, you got to be quicker on your releases, and that was just a bad, unfortunate defensive error.
So you're saying that whenever he had the ball, there wasn't a quick transition into offense?
Not that I noticed, no. But what I did like from that first half was Andres Gomez. Obviously, that assist to Julio was something else. But prior to that, we see on his side, that right side, several times where he's dribbling through defenders, taking chances. Obviously, that unfortunate one where he does that cross, hits the side netting. But we had plenty of chances, but just not that rhythm that we're used to. I don't know if it's the fact that we're still without players. I say without players, but we're fully stacked. Like,
yeah, I was going to say the only person we're missing, quote unquote, from this game was Chicho.
But yeah, just no real rhythm. It didn't fully click until that second half.
Yeah, this did seem just kind of like blah. It wasn't like obviously like we were all ecstatic when Nelson hit that shot. That was ridiculous. Yeah, chef's kiss. It was just. I think it was better than chocolate cake.
Yeah, and talking to Glad after the game, Glad himself was actually surprised that Nelson went for the rip. Because I think it was less than a minute into the game that Nelson was in, and he's like, "Sure, I'm gonna take a shot." First touch, boom, upper 90, and the confidence to take a shot like that when you barely have gotten minutes this season just shows how I love it. I love it. Not afraid at all.
Well, he's never been afraid to take those shots. I mean, we know Nelson has a rocket. We
Oh yeah,
know,
and the players have said during training that he's the one that has the best shot during training.
and yet Vera keeps taking the free kicks.
And yeah,
there were some interesting coaching decisions done by Pablo during that game. I think he was trying some new stuff because it was somewhat I think he considered it a somewhat safe environment to mess around in.
Like what do you think he was trying? Like what changes or what strategy did you see that you think was like an experiment?
The whole Gavin Beavers passing it to Justin Glad for goal kicks. Mm-hmm. That was one thing that stuck out to me that I wasn't a huge fan of.
So playing from the back, it was almost like a Berhalter forcing it from the back kind of thing.
You need a bro.
Well, I think Pablo has already mentioned before that that's the kind of way that they're going to start using the goalkeepers more in that sense. Try to play it from the back.
But I mean, we can play it from the back. I have no problem playing from the back. Literally, I really don't.
No, we did it.
It was very nonchalant. There wasn't purpose to the passing. It literally was kick it to Glad. Glad would then look for the next 5 to 10 seconds for a pass. There wasn't like what do they always tell you when you're growing up playing soccer? You always have to movement, but you have to know where your next pass is before you receive the pass. You have to know, and it almost seemed like that was out the window for all positions. Like every single person didn't know where they were going to pass the ball. It was so frustrating to watch. That first half, that was if we were to choose a theme for how they played, it was not anticipating. There's midfield would receive the ball, and because they didn't know where they were going to go on their next move, they would just pass it right back to the back line.
Yeah.
And for a team that's been so aggressive all season, that's not what we want to see, and that's part of what made it so frustrating. Both Leagues Cups games were very unaggressive. Yeah.
Yes. But the funny thing is, the pass backs that I just mentioned, they weren't pass backs into our own half. In fact, if you look at the stats, most of our passes were in the opposition half. So we were attacking per se. We were in their attacking half a majority of the time. Now, whether we
were playing a high back line, but yeah.
Let's get into real quick some of the changes. So we saw, obviously we talked about Nelson coming in. Benji came in. How'd you see Benji come in?
It's as I've mentioned before with the signing of Benji Michel. He's a lower graded version of Anderson Julio. Anderson Julio, as we know, is the Energizer Bunny that plays a good 30, 45 minutes tops if he has the energy. But Benji brought that in this game, but kind of just died off here and there.
Like completely died off. Yeah, I agree. He was Julio-esque in the sense of he didn't run the whole time. Bro came in with 12 minutes left in the game, and for me, I would expect run the whole time.
Exactly.
Is it really that hard to find a Julian Alvarez in this world? Is it really that hard?
He just got transferred to Atletico Madrid.
I called it, bro. I called it. I said
interesting move.
Not impressed. Not impressed at all.
All right, tangent. Side tangent. I knew it was going to happen. If you know how Simeone thinks, he's going to try to grab all the Argentines. Angel Correa is already there. De Paul is already there. Molina is already there. Why do you think he wouldn't have Julian there?
They're building Argentina B team.
I wouldn't. I mean, at this point, I would say
that's not B.
That's all starters right there. I'm just saying.
But that's going to benefit Argentina in the long run and keep up team chemistry.
Oh yes. Anyways, that was a nice tangent.
But going along with like players that we brought in, obviously we brought in Benji, took out Anderson. I think one that kind of surprised me, but this wasn't until the 90th minute, so towards the end, was bringing off Gomez and then bringing in Brody. Because we had, if I do remember, we had Bodie Hidalgo who got a yellow card in the first half. And Christian and I were going back and forth. Like, Bodie has had several fouls that could have been another yellow. He could have easily been sent off. And I think all of us were scratching our heads when this happened. We're like, what is going on? Why is Pablo not taking Hidalgo off? And then he brings off Andres Gomez, brings in Brody, and everybody's thinking, okay, maybe we're going to be playing a 5-back. No, we see Brody playing up where Gomez's position is right there on the right midfield.
Speaking of experiments.
Yeah, and he was clearly uncomfortable up top. Like, very clearly. There were a few times where he started to track back to sit in the right back position and then realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm playing right wing, and went back up. Yeah, great call out, Marcos. Like, I don't necessarily disagree with bringing off Gomez, but Gomez for Brody?
I mean, who else did we have on the bench that was available? Let's see.
I mean, I would have maybe...
Well, we had Caliscan that never came.
Yeah, I would have brought on Caliscan over Brody for the wing position. You have to think about bringing it for the wing position. Obviously, because we'll talk about Lachlan Brook here in a little bit, but that's where Lachlan Brook would have been fantastic to come.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If he had been visa ready and everything at that point, that's where I would have brought him on for his debut.
I honestly thought this was going to be turning into a 5-back because kind of parking the bus, don't want to give away a late goal from Atlas. Yeah. But bringing in an outside back as a midfielder, that's not a good move by Pablo and his staff. Because we've seen this happen before. I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Hidalgo makes for a better midfielder over Brody. Because
I agree as well. Hidalgo actually was a winger at some point in his short career, but I think that's when he came in. I think that's what I mentioned in the group chat. I was like, oh yeah, Hidalgo's probably going to go up and Brody's going to come back. Well,
that would have made more sense.
Obviously. I mean, but do you know what would have been more obvious? What should have been more obvious, I think, in my opinion, is if they would have taken off Bodie in the 55th or whenever he committed that foul. That should have been the second yellow. Bro, when that happened, I was so pissed. I was so mad. I was like, no. And look,
if that would have happened, because obviously that was prior to Nelson coming in, Nelson having the game-winning goal, I feel like that would have flipped the switch, changed the momentum of the game, and we would have been chasing the entire time being at 10 men.
And I think at that point, Pablo's saying of goals change games would not have been true. It would have been cards change games, fouls change games, and that's irresponsibility on Bodie's part would have killed us.
100%.
Yeah. Yep. Man, nice call out, Marcos. I appreciate you. So if you guys were to give a man of the game, man of the match for this one, without looking at Fop Mob,
I was going to
say, who would you give man of the match to on this one?
Well, according to the League's Cup, after the game, they gave it to Nelson Palacio because obviously he came on as a super sub. But I don't know. I'm obviously I want to go with Nelson because of the game-winning goal, but either Nelson or Andres Gomez for the way that he kind of orchestrated to that lead up for that goal to Anderson Julio.
Yeah, I'd say Gomez is probably the smart choice. Again, kind of, a pretty unimpressive game overall by the team, but probably Gomez. Fatmov gave. Actually, before we talk about what Fatmov did, who would you have said, Alan?
I would have said Gomez as well, for his influence on the right side. Even though he didn't have very many, he had a pretty low passing accuracy, but just the fact that he's so dangerous on that wing. There was I guess real quick, Fatmob did give the man of the match to Justin Glad, which, all right,
cool. Holding that defense back, giving a good assist. So yeah, why not?
Good assist. It was like a 3-foot pass.
Nice little roll the ball.
An assist is an assist.
Well, technically we should take away his assist because he told Nelson not to shoot it.
That's true.
It's true.
That negates the pass.
Hey, the one thing I do like though about Leagues Cup, speaking of assists, there's no hockey assists at all. So
Leagues Cup does not count hockey assists.
No hockey assists in Leagues Cup. Thank goodness.
Well, I'm glad you're happy about that. I could give two flips and a darn about it.
Wow,
yeah. Let's All right. So we won this game. We had 3 points. All right. All we needed to do. All we needed to do was what
not
against Houston?
Lose by 3 goals.
Well, two goals.
At least 2. Not lose by 2+. Okay, that's all we did not need to do.
What did we do, Alan?
We lost by 3 goals.
Yeah.
That was
so going into this Houston game, we see one change in the lineup from the Atlas game, and that is the player that scored the game-winning goal. Nelson gets the start over Anelli. Does that surprise either of you guys?
No.
No. Yes.
Ooh, go. Why not?
I mean, no, it surprises me that because look, don't fix what's not broken. I don't think that the previous lineup was that broken. Yes, we just kind of criticized the lineup a little bit, but when you bring in Palacio has not had really good games starting. He's had really good games as a substitute, and and playing 20-25 minutes is probably his max where he can do really well. After that is when he starts influencing the game in different ways, like committing fouls, getting his personality into trouble, not coming back fast enough, not tracking back, and so that's where I think he leaves us open in a lot of places, where Anelli is more defensive minded, and I think we would have been able to. I think Anelli would have been a better influence than Palacio. As a starter.
Who we really missed that match? I mean, we've missed him for a while, but especially this match, Pablo Ruiz.
Yep.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
What would he have brought to this?
I guess he bring another element of attack.
Well, the thing about Pablo Ruiz and his play style is that he is very versatile, and being able to, he's a defensive mid by nature, but he's also very good about playmaking. That is where his biggest strength is, and that is one of the quietest needs of this team right now, is a true playmaker.
Because I guess this is a debate that I've seen online. It's not a huge, drawn out one, but would Pablo even make an impression on this lineup? Because we've tried him as an attacking midfielder. We've tried him in that 10. He wasn't like too successful. Obviously, he was our defensive midfielder. So, and I think
I wouldn't play him in the 10 spot. I would play him where Palacio and
I was like,
Anelli are.
Keep him where he's been comfortable. Keep him where he's made a difference so far.
So I guess this brings up a quick question, side tangent. I'm in our account is in a group chat on Twitter, and someone brought up the same situation of Pablo. Does Pablo, if healthy, does he get a starting role somewhere in this lineup?
I could see
he could beat out Anelli for his spot.
You think so? I mean, we're talking about the same Anelli that before the All-Star game, everyone was comparing him to probably the next Darlington Nagbe. Comparing him, he was second or not second. He was in the running for All-Star midfielder with Busquets.
Like third or fourth, yeah.
Here's the thing: if Pablo Ruiz had not been injured, it would not have opened up the development channel for Anelli. Anelli has benefited from Pablo's injury, gotten the minutes, been able to develop in the way that he has. If Pablo had stayed healthy, I don't think Anelli would have developed in the same way.
Exactly. I could see if Pablo Ruiz is healthy at this moment, I think we would probably see the same thing that we see right now with Nelson and Anelli, just swapping back and forth every so often in games. So it'd probably be Pablo and Ojeda switching back and forth and vice versa. So who knows? Come next season with having 4 defensive midfielders, what's going to happen next?
Actually, I think Pablo's contract is up this end of this season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we re-sign him, if he's gone to a different MLS team or whatsoever, or what's going to happen to Nelson? Like so many different options on the table for RSL. Shoot. One thing that I wanted to touch upon, we talked about it last episode with the whole thing with Gavin Beavers. We mentioned whether we thought in this Houston game Beavers wouldn't be starting. Does it surprise you that Beavers got the start in this big crucial game in Houston?
It surprised me.
Because he kind of was a little lackluster at times in Atlas, and then in this crucial game in Houston, he gets the start.
So here's my thoughts on this one. So I did expect McMath to start this one, but we need to give Gavin these kinds of situations where there is a lot on the line. If you don't give him these kinds of games, I don't think he'll develop the confidence to be able to make game time decisions in high stress situations. If we keep putting him against teams like Chicago and easy teams where he's going to get a save or two, barely touch the ball for 20 minutes in a row, I don't think that's good for his development. So I think this was a good learning moment, but you could tell that his confidence was rattled. And it sucks that we chose this game. At least let us get into the next round where we build a little bit of confidence, build a little bit of momentum, and
at least have
then
a home field advantage.
At least bring us back home. That would have been nice. I mean, I'm not going to put the blame on Gavin on this one at all. You're not going to see me blame goalkeepers very often, unless their name is Zach McMath. But this one definitely I'm not going to put on Beavers. In fact, we just talked about the game against a game against Atlas where Fatma put Glad as the man of the match. Glad then turned into the villain in this game.
Oh my gosh!
First goal. No, the first goal was the own goal by Hidalgo, wasn't it?
No, Herrera.
That's right.
Then Mikhail scored, and then the own goal by Glad.
I mean, you know when Mikhail scored, not gonna lie, this is the Argentine in me. I was so pissed because he's Brazilian. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Anyways, that's the only reason why I said oh crap.
But going into this game, we've known for a couple of weeks now that this game. Second game of Leagues Cup is the game that Chicho comes back. He's had several weeks to prepare all these things, and what happens with this? He's on the bench. I'm surprised, but not surprised with this one because obviously he hasn't had the opportunity to train with his teammates at all. So I guess not up to game speed. So Pablo and his staff make it so he has to come off the bench.
So I guess that's a good segue into this question. What would you guys have done with Chicho? Would he have been a starter for you, or would you have brought him off the bench like they did?
Definitely would have started him in a crucial, I guess, must-win game to push your team to the knockout round. Definitely would have started your captain and your leading goal scorer.
But he literally only had a session and a half, maybe 2 sessions in before this game. I don't know, Christian. What do you? I see your wheels are turning.
I can see validation for both views, honestly. In this one, I can see Pablo's thought process behind. Okay, he's only had a session and a half since his suspension is up, and want to make sure that his fitness is game time ready. So let's bring him on the half and see how the team does beforehand. However, his influence on the field was needed because, I mean, the performance between halves was night and day.
You thought the second half was better than the first?
Oh, I mean,
yeah, agreed.
Any half where you don't give up 3 goals compared to the first half is going to be a better half.
Sir, you are not wrong.
I mean, I'm not so much. I'm disappointed that our offensive production was so low, but if you take a look at the numbers, we just couldn't finish, that's a problem. That is a problem. But what the back line did was abysmal and embarrassing and unworthy of the crest that they wear on their shirt.
Yeah, that was super frustrating.
Now, I have this question for you guys. Obviously, we've signed 4 players. One of them got to play in this one, Benji Michel. The other 3 players, we haven't seen any minutes at all from them. Do you feel like any of those players, if we had all 4 or whatever, do you think they would have made a huge impact in this game in Houston?
I think so, only because they're actual depth pieces. If they were starters, they would have been playing great. As substitutes, they would have been playing great. We've signed players that are potential starters. They will be fighting for a starting spot. So that's why, if we had them, yes, I think this would have been a totally different game. We would have been able to sub comfortably, I think, in the 60th minute, anyone, and would have been fine.
Agreed.
In fact, I would even dare say, for example, if we put Javane Brown on the right back, we would have been safe. In fact, I'm surprised
I wouldn't put Javane Brown at right back for that game. I would put him in center back. Sub out Justin Glad.
Or how about this? It'd be put in Javane Brown for Glad, but move Hidalgo into the middle, because I think Hidalgo, for me, I don't think he's doing a horrible job. Not my first choice, but
not doing terrible.
You can't take a look at the FOPMob rankings or ratings rather and say, hey, the entire team sucked, even though the entire team kind of did suck. But
yeah,
Hidalgo did fine.
I think he does all right. There are, obviously, he has moments where his youth shines through. But for the most part,
it was definitely nice to see second half to see Benji subbed on, get playing time up top, playing with Chicho. How do you feel like those two paired well together up top? No,
it was. Here's the thing.
As expected.
I don't know if it was as expected. In fact, what I expected when Benji came on, and I think this is what happened, but it didn't seem like it. I thought Chicho was going to drop into the attacking mid, into the center position, and Benji was going to go up top. But it was more like this seemed like Chicho turned into the Messi, and Benji just turned into the forward that was just running around, putting pressure on the ball, where Chicho didn't run that much. And again, this is Houston we're talking. Like, Houston in the summer, Christian, you know how it is. Hot and humid. I mean, it's a sucky place to play. But everyone knows what to expect. The crappy part is it almost seemed like we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, I don't know how much more we can just say the same thing over and over and over again.
No, it was frustrating, and it's one of those I'm happy / not happy, of course, that we're out of this tournament, because one, I wanted a chance to punch a ticket into the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The reason I'm happy that we're out, you guys might disagree, but this gives us 2.5 weeks for us to train, prepare for these last 9 games, 6 of those being at home. We have three players that we just signed who haven't even played or trained with this team, so this gives them time to get comfortable with their new teammates.
And that's where I disagree, and I know Alan's going to agree with me. I think 2.5 weeks of no game is not great. There's only so much you can do in training without actual games. I think it would have been good too. Yeah, because those 3 players, regardless, are going to integrate and train with the club, get to know their teammates, and what better way to forge chemistry than in the heat of battle? And to have the additional games where they could have subbed in and actually see what their teammates are like in the moment would have been beneficial.
And what's killing us right now is that our first game back is against San Jose, and as we're talking right now,
4-0 over Necaxa. Holy Santana.
Exactly, as we're
First
talking right
half.
now. Though looks like they just got a red card. Well, both teams have a red card. But,
both teams just got a red card.
But we're looking at a Necaxa team that's a middle, lower-ish table team.
Same as Atlas.
Yeah, but the Earthquakes are the worst team in the league, if not the second worst, and yet they're up 4-0 at halftime against Necaxa. That's the team we're going to be playing our first game back. What does that say about where we're at and where their mind is at? Granted, you can argue to me that maybe they put everything in, all the chips in to this tournament because the season's already lost for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say anything can happen when it comes to the Leagues Cup. Cup, Open Cup, I feel like that's where teams all their focus and their priority comes. But yes, San Jose, they're bottom dwellers in the West, like their season's over, but they got depth. They have depth beyond depth. So that game come the 24th is going to be a scary one if RSL is not prepared.
And here's the thing, which worries me. They're going to be obviously moving on to the next round. Next round is
LAFC.
Well, LAFC, but early next week. So that means they will have a week of game preparation. So not only an extra game, but extra 2 games under their belt. That means they're going to just be taking a 1 week break of no games. Literally, we're going to be going 19 days without a game. That's ridiculous, especially when we're in mid-season.
There's a reason that our players were kind of on vacation for this week.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to have them do? I mean, you can quote unquote punish them. Hey, we're going to be practicing because you guys didn't show up for Leagues Cup, but that's not what you do as a professional. I don't know.
You do let them blow off the steam. They need to get the steam blown off, but I think their break should not be that long.
Probably
Give
won't
them
be
a week and get back into the lab, because one of the dangers I think that we have the potential of running into as a team right now is that we peaked too early.
Yeah.
When do you think that peak was?
June.
Beginning of June, I think. In fact, I would even say end of May.
And we have to make sure that isn't the peak. A peak, sure, but we have to make sure that isn't the peak. So how do you do that? You bring on new signings. You make it competitive again. To take the positive out of this, you now have one focus, and that is to win the MLS Cup, which is absolutely doable by this team.
I mean, it's doable.
It's doable. But, and that's the thing, like, in the most recent years, since 2013, it's all been like, it's doable. We can make the playoffs. But for the first time since 2013, all of a sudden it's like, oh, no. It's doable.
Yeah, like
I feel
this
more
is wedding night doable. Like, it's doable.
No, I feel more confident in this time than in past years, because I don't remember another transfer window in years where we've made 4 signings in one transfer window. So this is big time. Shows that the front office actually cares about this team, that going into these last 9 games, we have this momentum. Yes, we're in 3rd place, but we control our own destiny because 6 of those are at the Fortress.
Yeah, and that's super important. So we can. I don't think we have very many other words to talk about for this game, but I did write down some notes. They were rant-like notes, so I'll read them kind of. And
take them with a grain of salt, folks.
Yeah, exactly, because I think I'm over these feelings, but I still want to say them. I want to say thanks to everyone that said they didn't want RSL to play in Leagues Cup. And guess what?
Yeah.
You got your wish. We are now not playing Leagues Cup. Whether it was because this is a capitalist league and all we're looking for is money, or whether you didn't want players to be injured, here you go. You got your wish.
The
also,
Open Cup purists.
Oh, the Open Cup purists. Yes. We won't even get into that. Luckily, we weren't part of that because, well, we were part of Open Cup, so I guess we didn't have much to say. But also, this is a stab at a lot of people. So again, grain of salt.
Oh boy.
If you didn't care about Leagues Cup, soccer isn't your first sport.
Ooh.
That's fair.
Just saying.
That's facts.
And like we just said, no RSL fan boycotted Leagues Cup, or no RSL fan group, fan base, because here's another shot. Because we don't even care about the U.S. Open Cup either.
Eek, eek.
I know. Just thought I'd say that. Also, I mentioned that we were in that group chat in Twitter. Someone had mentioned that Gomez might be selfish in terms of when he gets that ball in the wing, whatever game. We're now talking any game. Mm-hmm. Is Gomez too selfish by taking it up the wing, cutting in, and taking shots on his own instead of crossing the ball?
I would say not all the time, but there are definitely game after game where I am frustrated with Gomez's selfish. It happened so many times in this Houston game, a lot in the second half, where Gomez would be dribbling down that right side, and he'd just be clogged up by 3-4 Houston defenders, nowhere to pass to, where he'd have Crooks in the middle, he'd have Chicho, whomever, but you got to find your players. You got to find your teammates to pass to. You can't just be a one-man show.
I think that's where Gomez's youth shows up. And that's more reminiscent of the play that we saw last year compared to what we've seen in successful moments this year. Just an off game. And
I guess all we can do is move forward, right?
Gotta.
Well, let's talk about moving forward then. So moving forward, let's talk about the transfer window. So we have 4 signings. Since our last episode, we confirmed a new signing, Diogo
Goncalves.
Goncalves, or because I don't speak Portuguese, it's going to be Goncalves.
No hablo portugués.
No follow
portugués.
No follow portugués.
Nice try. So Diogo is from Portugal. He's definitely he's a really good player, attacker, coming from Copenhagen. Copenhagen is not a small team, by the way. Which, by the way, I totally forgot about.
We played against them in the Atlantic Cup.
Exactly, we played against them in the Atlantic Cup.
Yeah, that's probably what got him on our radar.
Possibly.
I'm not gonna lie, you're probably right, because I was thinking about the same exact thing when we signed him, and I was like, oh, he's from Copenhagen, and then when I looked at his stats and whatnot, what the heck?
Unfortunately for Christian, he did score against Man U.
Oh yeah. Didn't he score 2 that game?
Just 1, but that shows his quality.
And then he did start against City in the knockout round again.
So he's definitely quality. He's apparently within the price range that we wanted, and so this is actually pretty impressive, to be honest. I'm actually really excited to see where he plays. And now here's the thing: where do you think he's going to play?
He's going to take over Crooks' spot. Crooks is going to then end up on the bench.
You think we're going to be benching Crooks?
Yeah, because I feel like with a player of Diogo's caliber playing with a
oh my gosh.
No, I feel like with a player of Diogo's caliber playing with a big club in Europe, playing in the Champions League, I feel like that's gonna, and obviously he's gonna be our DP. I don't know why you would have a DP coming off the bench.
I mean, it's true.
That's a valid argument.
Now, this is a pretty cheap DP too. This isn't like a
3 million.
Yeah, only 3 million. It's not like he's a lot of money. I mean, compared to the I forgot the what was the other guy? The Serbian guy, Czech guy, or whatever that we were also looking at.
Oh,
yeah, he was a little bit more pricier, so he was out of our
I don't
price
know.
range.
I would have bought him, to be honest.
Yeah, he was younger. I think he was about 22, 23. So,
but he also put in like 20 plus goals.
Right.
I mean that's probably why he was worth 6, 7, 10. I forgot what they say he was worth, but let's give this transfer rating a grade. We're gonna give it
all 4 of them, or just Diogo?
Yeah, overall, because we've already talked about Benji, we've talked about Lachlan, we talked about Javane. Now let's talk about we already talked about Diogo. Not out of the 4, the 4 overall. What would you give RSL on a grade scale for the transfers that we've gotten?
I'll give him a B.
Why?
Maybe more B plus, just
What?
because.
Quit changing it. Just explain it.
Just because, like, for example, like Benji, because I feel like we could have gotten somebody better. Like, yeah, Benji's a good striker, but is that the best we could have done? Like, he hasn't played an actual match until back with like the beginning of this year, and he was like playing here and there when he was in Portugal. So I feel like that's kind of like my only head scratcher. Other than that, the other 3 players, great players.
Lay it on me, Christian.
Are we giving letter grades here? Is that what we're doing? Or...
Yeah, this one's letter grading. We're gonna go away from the Thought Mob rating.
I'd say a B minus.
B minus. Ew.
I think so. Here's the thing. Javane Brown, I think solid. Lachlan Brook, solid. I'm curious to see what he does. Concalvos is very good signing. Even though he's a little bit older, the experience he brings is invaluable. The thing that drags down the grade for me is Benji Michel. Everything I've seen so far, I have been very, very unimpressed.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know of very many, and this might be a prejudice of me. I don't know of very many good Caribbean strikers. I can't name one off the top of my head. Not even the Jamaican ones. There's probably a couple of Jamaican strikers that have gone through the league that have been really good. I can't think of one off the top of my head. So all those that are listening are probably going to be like, well, what about this player, this player?
Well, I thought you were going to say I don't know any good Portuguese players from the MLS. I was going to say.
Well, I already told you guys in my group chat. I have a bias against Portuguese players, only because Ronaldo's Portuguese, and so therefore anyone that is Portuguese is therefore pro Ronaldo. It sounds dumb, but
quick question just popped into my mind. Speaking of Ronaldo, Portuguese fans, etc., if you had the option to, instead of Concalvo, to sign, or instead of Benji Michel, would you sign Alejandro Garnacho instead of Michel?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, why am I second guessing? Like, yeah, in a heartbeat.
I mean, to be honest, I don't mind signing anyone that's actually willing to go to goal.
Or if we're talking Portuguese players, would you rather sign Bruno Fernandes?
Oh, easy.
Over Concalvo?
Easy.
Okay. I'm just making sure the reality check is still there with the bias in place.
What's his other face that plays for Atletico? I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna have to look up just a second. Give me literally a couple seconds. Joao Felix. Would you sign Joao Felix?
Over who? Over Benji?
Over Benji. Yes.
No.
Would you bring in literally Joao Felix?
I would.
I don't know. Joao Felix for me has too much of an attitude issue. Just like James, I wouldn't bring in someone like that.
I don't want drama. Drama.
But that's the thing with me and Portuguese players. That's why when we announced that Diogo was coming, I was like, eek. I mean, speaking of announcements, RSL said that tomorrow, the 9th, so if you're listening to it today, it's today, they're going to be announcing something. They did like a little empty director's chair.
I wonder what it is. It's so mystery.
And people are like, what's happening? And then at the same time, Diego Luna puts on his Instagram that he's moving, and everyone's like, is he leaving? Yeah, that was you, Marcos. He texted me. He's like, is Diego leaving? You think so? I'm like, bro, the dude's moving a house. He got a pay raise of like $200,000. Of course he's gonna move. Went from an apartment now to a house.
Good for him.
Hey, working at Dutch Bros. That's what it does to you.
Yeah. All right. Last topic. I need you guys to let me know where we're going now with this. Marcus, no, not to bed. Well, yes, probably. But since now we're heading to the last 9 games of the season, 6 of them at home. What are we looking at? What do you guys expect?
So for me, my expectations, the 9 games moving forward are all must-win games. We have to be able to finish out the season strong and set ourselves up well for the playoffs. I mean, there's no room for mistakes anymore.
Right.
There can't be. If we're going to cement ourselves as a high quality team, as a competitive team, as one of the faces of MLS, which we've become this season, we have to win out the season. I could maybe see a draw or two against some of the better teams left in our schedule, like taking a look at the fixtures we've got.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
San Jose is a must-win. New England is a must-win. I would dare say Houston is a must-win. We have to get that monkey off our backs if we're going to be taking positive momentum into the playoffs. Yeah. I think it would be acceptable to tie against Portland and Minnesota. That's it. We have to beat everybody else.
Also, by the way, we play against San Jose twice. And so, you have to click next page on FOTMob.
Oh, geez, you're right.
Yeah, I made that same mistake the other day.
I mean, we still have to win out against, including Vancouver too. Especially with taking a look at the table, Vancouver's 5th. We have to win against Vancouver to finish the season.
Yeah.
I still stand by I think it's acceptable to tie against Portland and Minnesota, and that's it. Everybody else is a must-win game.
Yeah. So I guess, do you foresee any losses? I mean, obviously, any of these games we could lose.
Sure, any of these games we could lose. I mean, unfortunately, I think Houston could easily be another loss. I think Portland could be another loss, and Vancouver, if we're not careful, could be a loss.
Okay. Yeah,
and that's a crucial 9 points we can't drop.
Yeah, for me, my concerns are Houston and Portland. Those are my biggest concerns, only because we are coming off of huge losses against them. Both of them, 3-0.
I'm glad we're on the same page there.
I'm glad we're family.
Yeah, right.
Shoot, that's the only thing that scares me, and like we just mentioned, the fact that we have this huge break before playing again is not going to help us. So, let's wrap this up.
You lost Marcos. Okay.
Let's wrap this up, and we're gonna make sure we have something to talk about next week, for sure. Yeah. Marcus had to drop off suddenly, but we're gonna be here next week. We're gonna see if we can get a special something for you guys. We're waiting for some approvals, but hopefully we have a fun segment next week with some pretty good conversation. I don't know. What do you say?
I hope it works out. It'll be very exciting for us. Whoever we can get there. I can't say anything because nothing's confirmed, so I can't let you all speculate. If you want to speculate, feel free to speculate.
if you want to ask us, ask away. But
I'll give you an answer. I can't give you the answer, but I can give you an answer.
Ooh.
I'll say it's messy every time.
Every time. Actually, if you want to maybe just let people know, maybe a little bit about what you might be doing here the next couple of weeks, just because probably next episode we won't have enough time. But
I mean, next Friday, as of this recording, August 16th, I'm headed out to England for the week.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna go check out the birthplace of the greatest sport on earth and go see. Hopefully, a couple of games. I do have a tour of Old Trafford lined up, and I will probably cry. It's fine. I'm a man. I can cry.
Are you gonna go to a game?
No, unfortunately not.
Dang it!
It's the very start of the season, and travel schedule didn't line up, but that's fine. That'll be for the next trip.
Next trip, always. Well, that's awesome. We're obviously gonna miss you. You're gonna be I think gone one episode, but it's all right. You'll definitely come back with a lot of stories, hopefully, and we'll definitely enjoy that. So, if obviously you're not listening. Well, if you're not listening, then you won't hear this. So anyways, if you want to share this with someone, please do. We always love to have more conversations online. Christian needs some more friends online. So
we all need more friends.
We all need more friends. So,
and yeah, give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram. We're not on TikTok yet.
Nah, that's too many social medias.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you like to get your podcasts, and give us and interact with us on social media. We love it when you respond to our stories. If you want to hit us up individually on Twitter as well, all three of us have an individual presence on there, as well as the RSL Bros.
Also, we would appreciate some star ratings. So
yes,
high stars, like
high stars, please,
like 5, preferably. All right, well. Catch you guys on the flip side. Ciao, ciao.